It's Sunday again, and this is just a short video really to talk to you a little bit about the content that I'm going to have on this channel. So, part of it is about my journey from being an employee for over a decade and the transition into becoming a business owner. And I'll cover that in a longer video. Um, the second thing I want to talk about is really about the fact that Brexit made me a bit of a digital nomad just by default because I love the UK and my base is in France where I actually grew up. So, as a British citizen, I can only stay in the Schengen area for up to 90 days out of 180 days, which has actually been a blessing because it's just made me move out of my comfort zone, spend time in other countries that I probably wouldn't have even ventured to if Brexit hadn't happened. So there is a silver lining, and I'll probably link um, one of my Medium stories below about that journey because I documented it. Not in great detail, but in part. And then the third pillar is really going from biohacking to nutritional therapy, which was the career change, but also a mindset change. So I used biohacking while I was an employee in the corporate world just to get by because my health wasn't in a great state and my lifestyle wasn't either. I didn't feel I had any control over uh, my life day to day, really. My workload. It was a perfect storm that really had a massive impact on my health. So biohacking was kind of like the DIY job to just get through it. And it's actually thanks to the pandemic and the fact that I was working from home for 15 months um, that I pretty much just took control of my life, control of my health, and quit the corporate world, which was something that I'd had on the cards pretty much since university. Even before I finished university, I was already thinking about being self not even being self-employed, having a business of my own. And now I have that. It took a long time. Maybe it shouldn't have taken as long, I don't know. But be that as it may, here we are now. And my business is called the Healthwell NTP Limited. Um, I have been working as a nutritional therapy practitioner while traveling as a digital nomad for I think it's 2.5 years now. And I was training for 10 months before that. I have been outside of the UK primarily for the best part of 5 years now. Well, it's coming up to 5 years in June. And yeah, I wanted to kind of document all this. It is all linked, it is all cohesive. And if I look to the left, it's just because I don't want to stare upwards. um, but I'm actually a little bit shocked at how washed out I look in this light. So apologies, but I hope that at least my audio isn't clickety clacketing all over the place because I realized that I've recorded some videos on here and my mic was rubbing against my necklet, my pendant, which I've tucked in. So hopefully the audio will be good. And yeah, I can just kind of bring you up to speed. I started recording on this channel and uploading on this channel in 2018, around the time that I started my podcast. And yeah, so I started my podcast before I quit my full time job as an engineering consultant. But by the time I quit, a social media policy came out of like nowhere that said that pretty much we weren't allowed to have a presence on social media, which I thought was extraordinary and also ironic considering that HR had tried to befriend me on Instagram, which I hardly even used. But I think it was just for them letting us know as employees that, oh, we see you. And it was none other than the HR. I can't remember what she was calling herself at that time, whether she was the manager or the director or anyway, who had tried to befriend me, which I thought was really odd because I will never forget seeing. Okay, so I didn't befriend her, but one of my colleagues did. And I think she'd posted something like, no, I know exactly what it was. It wasn't a bathing suit. It wasn't a bikini. It was lingerie set, and I don't know. There was a box of chocolates or something. But yeah, I mean, if you want crazy stories from the corporate world, what it's like working in a firm in central London, I have plenty of those. But that's not going to be the focus of this channel. The focus is about going from burnout to bliss. It's going from being an employee to becoming a business owner, and really to it's really about creating the life of my dreams. And yeah, it was several years in the making. Like literally, I remember registering my business in 2009 when my position was made redundant from the engineering consultancy that I was working for at the time. And I think if you go on LinkedIn, that's probably the only company that I worked for as an engineering consultant that is actually listed in my work history. I just wiped all that. I have restarted my LinkedIn profile so many times. But what I realize is that there's a whole world. Well, I realize, I think we all know there's an entire world outside of LinkedIn that is thriving in terms of, women in entrepreneurship, women in business, men in business, teenagers in business. I mean, there's a whole world outside of LinkedIn. Um, yeah, and it's funny because when I was brainstorming for the content for this channel, I finally decided on my pillars. AI was warning me that, the people if you want corporate clients, they might look you up online and, they might find your personal YouTube channel. Let them. Like, I'm the same here as I am on my business channel. And this is just the backstory, really. This is the context. I I have nothing to hide. If I get hired by a company, or for my services in nutritional therapy, then they might as well know where I stand, and there is no one to complain to. I am the CEO. I am the founder, and that's one of the many perks of being in business for yourself. I think this week is the Tony Robbins event online, so I'll probably link it down below. And yeah, have a fantastic rest of the week.